My name is Brooke Adams, and I am the Movement Politics Director at People's Action. We have very strong relationships with the members of the squad who are elected to Congress. They really remain committed to supporting not just our work on their campaigns, but actually our entire organizing programs last cycle. Yes, I believe the squad has been accountable to the grassroots communities that they're building. They have absolutely made their mark in Congress over the last couple of sessions. And a few just quick examples of that. They've each co-sponsored several dozen pieces of legislation each, along with offering a very high number of amendments to legislation. And a few of those proposals, such as Representative Tlaib's Payee Fraud Prevention Act, have actually become signed into law. But I would say it's also worth noting that more broadly, they've been responsible for elevating critical ideas into the public consciousness, such as the Green New Deal, right? One could make the argument that most Americans have heard of this phrase at this point, and that was not the case 3 or 4 years ago. And I think also Representative Tlaib's Automatic Boost to Communities Act was huge for really informing the American public's idea of solutions during the COVID pandemic. And these sorts of ideas help push what's possible on any number of issues. And the squad has also distinguished themselves in another key role as members of Congress, the role of oversight and investigations. Members of the squad are some of the most effective members in congressional hearings at digging into the issues affecting working families and really holding powerful actors accountable for their impact on the public. I do think their presence has shifted the conversation around who gets to have power at the federal level. These 4 women of color, some of them are Muslim women. One was famously a bartender who fought her way into power against one of the pillars of the Democratic establishment. They've really changed the public's idea about what it means to represent people. And I mean real working people all across the country in Congress. And just as importantly, I would say the way that they've relied on movements to build electoral power and fundraising power instead of old insider networks or the consultant class in DC has really changed the game for progressive politics. There's no question that the squad, for example, has played a really huge role in beating back austerity thinking during the COVID crisis. This whole rallying cry of no climate, no deal that is shaping up on the left as we speak is really going to be impactful in infrastructure talks. And this wouldn't be the case if it weren't for the squad running with the Green New Deal from the beginning. And ultimately, the real effective pressure or support for that matter that moves politicians comes not from big Twitter battles or influencers, but from the constituents who live in their districts and who put them in office. I do think we need to elect more people like the squad. You know, that's how power works. We need an actual slate that has enough power to govern for us to win meaningful legislation.